Welcome to Internal System Support's training video on using the NOVAtime time and attendance system for approvers. This video presentation is designed for LACOE time and attendance approvers and will cover the following topics: understanding time report locations, defining approvers, understanding the approval workflow process, navigating the dashboard, assigning shifts, handling time-off requests, managing and approving timesheets, and delegating approvers. You can also navigate to any of the course topics by utilizing the Table of Contents menu located at the bottom right of the navigation bar. Simply click on the Table of Contents to bring up the menu on the left-hand side and select the topic you wish to view. The NOVAtime workflow process is based upon time report locations. What are time report locations? Well, many people confuse a time report location with a pay location or work location. So let's define all three. First of all, each of these three types of locations are HRS codes used to organize information about you. A work location is an HRS code that defines where you are physically located. A pay location is an HRS code that defines where your payroll warrant or paycheck is delivered. A time report location is an HRS code that refers to the place your attendance is recorded for payroll purposes. This means you could have three different codes attached to you. Your work location could say that you work at a school in Torrance, but your pay location could say that you want your paycheck mailed to your home. However, your time report location could mean that your attendance is reported to an office in Downey, along with others at various sites. And since we're dealing with time reporting and time attendance, we're only concerned with where you report your attendance. Hence, NOVAtime's approval workflow is based upon time report locations. Who are approvers? Approvers comprise of supervisors, timekeepers, time report location managers, and payroll managers. Each class has varying levels of authority based upon the workflow approval for timesheets and different access rights based on their class. Every time report location is limited to one timekeeper and one time report manager. A supervisor or direct manager is a person who approves requests for time off for an employee. A supervisor could also be a time report manager. A timekeeper is the person in charge of collecting and processing employee timesheets for one or more time report locations. A time report manager is defined as the manager that approves all timesheets submitted by the timekeeper for one or more time report locations. A payroll manager is defined as someone who works in payroll and is responsible for processing the timesheet once it's been fully approved. All employee timesheet submissions and time-off requests go through a workflow process attached to them. Timesheet submissions follow a workflow based upon the time report location assigned to them. When an employee submits their timesheet for approval, it is sent to the timekeeper for review and approval. Then the time report manager, and finally to payroll for final approval and payroll processing. Approvals are always moving forward to the next level of approval, and only a payroll manager can reset a timesheet to a prior approval level. Employee time-off requests have a simple workflow based upon their immediate or direct supervisor and are routed only to this assigned supervisor for approval. Approved time-off requests can be canceled or edited by the employee and resubmitted for approval. However, denied requests cannot be modified any further. As an approver, there are two ways you will be accessing the NOVAtime website. One method is logging in through the LACOE MyID web portal to the NOVAtime Employee Web Services website, then switching to the NOVAtime Approver site. The other method is using a link in an email notification sent to you by NOVAtime notifying you of a pending request from an employee. Both methods require your MyID, UPN, and passphrase for authentication. If you need assistance with your MyID UPN and passphrase, please contact the LACOE Help Desk. They can be reached at 562-922-6646 or emailing helpdesk@lacoe.edu. When accessing NOVAtime through the LACOE MyID website, open a web browser such as Internet Explorer, and then in the address bar, type myid.lacoe.edu and press Enter. Once at the MyID login screen, input your MyID UPN and passphrase. Click the Login button to log into MyID, and then click on My Applications. Find the NOVAtime Employee Web Services link and click on it to open a new tab with the Employee Web Services website. In order to switch to the Approver website, click on the Welcome drop-down box in the upper right-hand corner of the screen and click on My Team. You will now be on the dashboard of the Approver website. We will cover how to navigate the dashboard in the next topic of this video. As mentioned, another method of logging into NOVAtime is through an email notification. When employees send requests for time off, submit their timesheets for approval, or if there's something that is pending your attention in NOVAtime, you will receive an email notification like this one. You can click on the link in the email to open the NOVAtime Supervisor login page. Input your MyID UPN for the username and MyID passphrase for the password. Then click Login to be taken to the Approver website. Logging into NOVAtime this way does not require you to switch to the Approver site, although you can still switch between the Employee Web Services website and the Approver site by utilizing the Welcome drop-down box in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. Please be sure to log out of the system by clicking on the Logout link once you have completed your tasks. Now that you have logged on to the NOVAtime Approver website, the first page you will see is the dashboard. The dashboard is a summarized view of various types of information and requests for your assigned employees. Everything you need to do as an approver can be easily accessed from this page. You can navigate back to the dashboard from anywhere on the Approver's website by clicking on the dashboard link at the top of the screen. The In-Out board shows the current punch status of your employees that are required to punch. The Time-Off Requests section displays time-off requests that are pending supervisor approval. Clicking a pay code type will take you to the Scheduler Request section, filtered for the pay code you clicked. The Approval Status section displays a summary of where your employee's current pay period timesheets are in the workflow process. The status of Open means the timesheet is available for an employee to edit and has not been submitted for approval. The status of Submit means the timesheet has been submitted for timekeeper review and approval. The status of Timekeeper means the timesheet has been reviewed and approved by a timekeeper and is awaiting the Time Report Manager approval. The status of Time Manager means the timesheet has been reviewed and approved by the Time Report Manager and is awaiting payroll approval. And the status of Payroll means the timesheet has been reviewed and processed by payroll. Clicking a Workflow Status icon will take you to the Timesheet Summary screen, filtered by the workflow status you've clicked. Finally, the Exception Summary section will show current pay period timesheet exceptions for your employees. This section provides an easy way to identify employees with exceptions to their normal work hours, such as overtime, tardy punches, early punch-outs, and missing punches. The system has been configured to display two Approval Status and Exception Summary screens. The first is populated with timesheet approval status and exceptions of employees on a monthly pay cycle, and the second is populated with approval status and exceptions of employees on a semi-monthly pay cycle. Some approvers may not have employees with both types of pay cycles. For these approvers, they will see two approval status and summary sections that display the same monthly or semi-monthly summaries. Timekeepers are responsible for assigning and maintaining employee shift information. To assign a shift to an employee, after logging into NOVAtime as a timekeeper, click on Employees on the top navigation bar. Employees are listed on the left side of the screen. You can utilize the search feature to find a particular employee or set filters to narrow down the list of employees to choose from. Employee information is displayed on the right side of the screen. Please do not update any information on this screen other than the shift number, located near the bottom of this page. All other information on this screen is imported daily from HRS, so any changes made to other fields will be lost the next day. To update the shift, simply click the drop-down box and select the desired shift. Hourly employees, those in bargaining unit EE, will use the first shift listed, hourly employee generic shift. Since hourly staff are positive reporting and punch out for their meal break, set work hours are not necessary. For salaried employees, there is a large variety of shifts to choose from, ranging from 4 to 8 daily work hours, including or not including meal breaks. All shifts are listed in 24-hour format, and those with meal breaks include the text M with a second set of times indicating the meal break period. Shifts without a meal break contain the text No Meal. As employees within bargaining unit TT receive paid meal breaks, their time shifts can be found at the bottom of the list, with the description starting with the text TT. All shifts listed in NOVAtime are rounded to the nearest 15-minute mark, so every employee's exact shift may not be listed in the system, such as some employees who have start times at 8:05 or 8:10 a.m. In those cases, please assign a shift closest to the nearest 15-minute mark. For example, if you have an employee whose work begins at 8:05 a.m., please choose a shift with a start time of 0800. Or for an employee whose start time is 8:10 a.m., please choose 0815. If you are still unable to find a suitable shift to assign to your employee, please contact Internal Systems Support by emailing internalsystemsupport@laco.edu, and we will assist you with selecting a shift or creating a new one if necessary. After you have assigned a shift to the employee, make sure to click the Save icon at the top of the page, as changes will not be saved until you have clicked it. Only supervisors or time report location managers who are also supervisors can approve requests for time off. When one of your staff makes a request for time off, you will receive an email notification. Click the link in the email to open NOVAtime in a web browser. Then use your MyID UPN for the user ID and your MyID passphrase for the password. Then click the Login button to be logged into the approver website. Since you have pending notifications, you will receive a pop-up message stating you have new messages waiting. Click OK to read the messages. New messages are highlighted in bold, and you can read a new message by clicking on the message type. After reviewing the request, click the Approve Decline link in the upper right to be taken to the Scheduler Request Details page, where you will be able to approve or decline pending time-off requests. This page can also be accessed using the dashboard. Navigate back to the dashboard by clicking the dashboard icon in the upper left corner of the screen. Once on the dashboard, select one of the types of pending requests. You will be taken to the Scheduler Request Details page, and the page will be filtered for the type of pending request you've chosen, in this case vacation. The grid on the lower half of the screen will be populated with results based on the filters selected above. You can change your results by utilizing the available filters, but for this example, we will keep the current filters in place. There are 3 ways to approve requests, and only one way to decline requests on this screen. First, by clicking the Approve All button, all pending requests currently displayed on the screen will be approved. The second way you can approve requests is by picking and choosing what requests you wish to approve by clicking the Select checkbox next to each request, then clicking the Approved Selected button. Third, you can click the status icon for each request, add additional comments if you wish, then choose an action from the drop-down menu. The status of pending will leave an item in pending status, in this case no change, but if you were changing the status from approved, then this would move the claim back to a pending status. Selecting approved will approve the claim, and selecting declined will deny it. And although remove is listed on the available actions, LACOE approvers are not to use this action. Selecting decline from this drop-down box is also the only way requests can be denied. Once you have finished making your status selection, click OK to set the status. When using this method, no changes will be saved until you click the Save icon in the upper left portion of the screen, so be sure to click it before continuing. Once you have completed handling pending requests, your staff will receive an email notification of actions you performed on their requests. At this point, it's good practice to go back to the dashboard and double-check that you no longer have any pending time-off requests remaining in your queue. To manage an employee's timesheet, click on Attendance and Timesheet. Employees assigned to you are listed on the left side of the screen. You can use Search to search for employees by keywords, or use the available drop-down filters to narrow down the list of displayed employees. The first set of filters allows you to choose one of 8 group filters. The second filter will change dynamically depending on what is selected in the first drop-down filter. Once your filters have been set, select the employee from the employee list on the left of the screen to open their timesheet. You can also click on the pin icon to toggle the auto hide on the list so you can see more of the timesheet. Be sure to check the employee pay cycle type and date selection fields, as you may need to update these to display the correct timesheet you are looking for. Also, please note, an employee's timesheet will remain in view-only mode so long as you have the pay cycle set to NA, so be sure to select a pay cycle before proceeding. Typically, you will select monthly or semi-monthly and current pay period or last pay period for the date selection. As an approver, you can edit an employee's timesheet so long as it is at your approval level or lower in the approval workflow. In the Timesheets area, you can edit existing items by clicking in the fields and changing values accordingly. Then click the Save icon to save those changes. You can also add additional items to the timesheet by filling in the fields on an open line. If you need additional blank lines, click the Add icon or Add Record button to add additional blank lines. To delete a record, click anywhere on the line you wish to delete and hit the Delete icon. Remember that any changes that you have made to the timesheet will not be saved until you press the Save icon. If you try to navigate away from the page before saving your changes, the website will give you a warning that you haven't saved your changes. So be sure to click the Save icon to ensure your changes have been saved. When adding or editing items to the timesheet, you are required to always input in and out reference times. The pay code work hours is the only code that automatically calculates hours into the regular, straight overtime or OT1, overtime OVT, and double time OT2 fields based upon an employee's bargaining unit requirements. Since those fields are automatically calculated, you will be unable to edit those fields manually. All other pay codes do not calculate hours based upon in and out reference times, so you will be responsible for inputting the in and out reference times, then manually calculating the appropriate hours to input into the regular and overtime buckets. There are many requirements on what you can input into an employee's timesheet based upon their bargaining unit. It is important that if you are adding, editing, or removing items from an employee's timesheet, you are following labor code and bargaining unit regulations. Please contact the payroll unit by emailing abdpayroll@laco.edu if you have questions regarding proper use of pay codes on the timesheet. If you need to apply comp time to replace an employee's overtime, you can do this by clicking the paper icon under the comp time column to display the comp time management screen and making needed adjustments. The Notes area allows you to view and edit notes attached to a line item. And you can view an audit trail of changes to a line item by clicking the audit icon if available. If you have multiple employees you wish to add time to, you can use the Multi-Add Generator. This tool allows you to add items to all employees that you've added to the Selected Items box. Complete information on the Input Timesheet Information fields as needed, then click Process to add the defined timesheet information to all selected employees. Please exercise extreme caution when using this tool, as it will save whatever information you specify to all the selected employees, and reversing changes will have to be handled individually on each employee's timesheet. The Insert/Repost Punches function allows you to add multiple clock punches to an employee's timesheet. We advise use of this feature be restricted to employees in Bargaining Unit EE, or hourly employees, as they're the only employees who punch. Once you have completed updates to the timesheet, click Save to save your modifications. Timesheets that have been processed by payroll can only be edited by a timekeeper or payroll manager. The main timesheet section will be locked for edit. However, a new area will be available for timekeepers and payroll managers, labeled Adjustment Timesheet. Use this area the same way you did the timesheet section to make adjustments as needed. Once you save your changes, the system will automatically create additional adjustment lines to effectively apply your retroactive adjustment the next time payroll is processed. If you have further questions regarding the use of the timesheet, please contact the payroll department by emailing abdpayroll@laco.edu. When an employee submits their timesheet for approval, it goes through the steps shown in the Approval Status area. When submitted for timekeeper approval, they will be on Submit. Once the timekeeper submits it, it moves to Timekeeper, showing that it's been approved by the timekeeper, then moves to the Time Report Manager, and lastly Payroll. Payroll managers are the only class who can deny or send a timesheet back to a lower level. If you accidentally approve a timesheet you need to edit, you will need to contact the payroll unit at abdpayroll@laco.edu, and they can have it sent back to you. The timekeeper is the first approver in the approval process for timesheets. As a timekeeper, click on the Submit icon to display timesheets that are ready to be approved. The results shown on this screen are filtered by timesheets with the status of Submit. You can change the displayed results by editing the available filters in the upper portion of the screen. Since we're going to approve timesheets awaiting timekeeper approval, we will leave the status filter on Submit. This page provides a summary of the totals of each timesheet submitted for approval. If you wish to approve all timesheets, you can simply click the Approve This Page button, and it will approve all the displayed timesheets and send them to the Time Report Manager for approval. You can also submit timesheets individually by changing the timesheet status drop-down on each timesheet from Submit to Timekeeper. If you choose to select each one individually, you will need to click the Save icon in order to save your choices before moving on. The Timekeeper also has the ability to edit the timesheet prior to approving them. Simply click on the name of the person whose timesheet you wish to edit, and you will be taken to the Employee Timesheet page. Once there, you can edit the timesheet accordingly. You can also approve the timesheet on this page by clicking the Approve icon in the upper right corner of the screen. Once the timesheet has been approved, the timesheet status will change to Timekeeper. This means that you have approved the timesheet as the Timekeeper, and it is now pending the Time Report Manager's approval. The Time Report Manager is the second approver in the approval process for timesheets. As stated earlier, timesheets at the Submit status level are waiting Timekeeper approval. Once employees' timesheets are in Timekeeper status, they are ready to be approved by the Time Report Manager. From the dashboard, click on the Timekeeper status to display a summary of timesheets awaiting your approval. You can choose to approve all timesheets at once by clicking the Approve This Page button. You can also approve timesheets individually by changing the timesheet status drop-down on each timesheet from Timekeeper to Time Manager. If you choose to select each one individually, you will need to click the Save icon in order to save your changes before moving on. Like the Timekeeper, if you wish to review and edit the details of a timesheet, click on the line to be taken to the timesheet. You can also approve the timesheet on this page by clicking the Approve icon in the upper right corner of the screen. Once the timesheets have been approved, the timesheet status will change to Time Manager. This means that you have approved the timesheet as the Time Report Manager, and it is now ready to be approved by payroll. If you are planning on being out of the office, you can delegate your responsibilities to another approver. Access the delegation page by navigating to Preferences, Delegation. Click on a blank delegation space to bring up a drop-down box that lists all approvers. Delegation is allowed only between approvers. When selecting a delegate, best practice is to choose someone at your approval level or higher. Remember that timesheets are submitted to the Timekeeper, then sent to the Time Report Manager. Employees who do not have approval authority cannot receive delegation and will not be listed in the delegation drop-down box. After you've selected your delegate, set the duration of this delegation by selecting dates in the From and To fields. Web access should be set to your approval level. If you are a supervisor, please set Supervisor Delegation. If you're a timekeeper, then select Timekeeper Delegation, and so forth. Typically, you will want to have your delegation set for a particular period of time. In this case, you do not need to select Pay Code, only select Type Manual. This will automatically populate the pay code with work hours and give the delegate access to your duties, ignoring your schedule within NOVAtime. If you wish, you can set up delegation to automatically delegate authority whenever you have a time off requested in NOVAtime during a specific period of time. For example, if you wanted to set up delegation whenever you have a scheduled vacation, you could set the From and To dates to the beginning and end of the year. Select Pay Code Vacation, and then select Type as Auto. The system will now compare this delegation with your scheduled time-offs, pending or approved. This means if you've submitted a time-off request using Pay Code Vacation, this person receives delegation only during the time of your vacation. If you submitted time off using any other code, such as personal necessity or illness, the system will not delegate during that period. Complete the setup by selecting Notified to send an email to the user you've delegated, and if you wish, attach a message by clicking in the Message field. Employee and group filters will be automatically populated for you. Click the Save icon to save changes to this page and set the rules. If you wish to delete a rule, you can click the X next to the row to remove it from the system. You can also edit the rule by clicking in any of the fields and making the changes you wish. Again, please be sure to click the Save icon after you've completed your edits. If you have been assigned as a delegate in someone else's absence, when you log into the system, the Welcome drop-down box in the upper right corner of the screen will be highlighted in gold. When you click on the drop-down box, you will see the delegator's name listed here. Click on their name to navigate to their dashboard. Once you have completed tasks on their dashboard, you can switch back to yourself by clicking on your name, or switch back to Employee Web Services by clicking on Myself. This concludes the Approver training video on how to use the NOVAtime time and attendance system. By logging on to the employee intranet, you can find additional training videos, classroom instruction schedules, and user manuals. After logging in, you can view our schedule of classes by choosing ISS Training from the list of categories on the staff calendar. On the left side menu, you can also navigate to Business Services, then Internal System Support to list our available online resources, such as user manuals, training guides, and security application forms. Additional training videos can be found by clicking on ISS Training Videos under the Internal System Support menu item. For payroll concerns or issues, please contact the payroll department by emailing abdpayroll@lacoe.edu. If you need help using the NOVAtime website, please contact Internal System Support by emailing internalsystemsupport@lacoe.edu and we will assist you.